Ever see those gorgeous portraits with that creamy blurred background, or landscapes where every single detail is crystal clear? The secret is one word: aperture. In this video, I'm going to make sense of f-stops, show you how light and depth of field really work, and by the end you'll know exactly how to control your camera like a pro. And stick around because I got 3 powerful bonus tips that most beginners miss that will enable you to put this knowledge to use immediately. Aperture is one of the 3 crucial camera settings along with shutter speed and ISO. But understanding it unlocks something unique: creative control. You'll learn what aperture really is, how f-stops work, the secret relationship between light and depth of field, and also why your lens choice matters. By the end, you'll be making intentional choices, not guessing. And if you're finding this useful and you want to keep learning, you can get a free copy of my ebook when you sign up to my monthly newsletter. It's full of simple, practical advice to help you build your skills and knowledge, and it's linked for you below. Aperture is just the opening inside your lens that controls how much light enters the camera. Think of it like your eye's pupil. When it's dark, your pupils open wide. When it's bright, it narrows to limit the light. In photography, you control this opening, and that means you control light and what's in focus. Okay, here's where it gets a bit confusing: f-stops. These numbers like f1.8, f5.6 or f16 actually describe the size of your aperture. But here's a simple analogy. Imagine pouring coffee through a funnel. A large funnel, we'll call that f1.8, lets a load of coffee through fast. A tiny funnel, let's say f16, drips coffee through slowly and barely any gets through. So small f number equals wide opening equals more light. Big F number equals small opening equals less light. It feels backwards, I know, and you can blame the mathematicians. Just remember, small number equals big opening equals more light. Inside your lens, a series of blades forms a circle that opens and closes to change the aperture size. Your lens is built like a mini engineering marvel. The aperture blades move to change the size of the opening. The lens elements being the glass that bends light into the sensor. The focus motor adjusts sharpness, sometimes even controlling the aperture electronically. And if you've ever heard the saying, "it's all about the glass," now you have a bit of an idea what they're talking about. Now here's where the fun starts. Aperture just doesn't control light, it controls focus, which is known as depth of field. With a wide aperture, say f1.8, only a slice of your subject is in focus, which is perfect for isolating people or details. With a narrow aperture, f11 or f16 say, more of your image is in focus, which is great for landscapes, architecture or group photos. And here's a tip on where to focus. For portraits, always focus on the eye closest to the camera. It's where the connection happens. For landscapes, focus roughly 1/3 into the scene. This gives you the maximum area of acceptable focus front to back. Think of it this way: your aperture isn't just a technical setting, it's your creative superpower. Used well, it shapes the look, feel and impact of your photo. But there is a catch. Use an aperture that's too small, like f22, and you may introduce something called diffraction. This happens when light waves bend around the tight edges of the aperture blades, causing the image to lose a bit of sharpness. It's a bit like waves of water trying to squeeze through a narrow gap in a wall. When the gap is wide, the waves can move through cleanly and continue straight on. But when that gap is really tight, the waves spread out, ripple in odd directions and lose their shape. And that's kind of what light does at very small apertures. It spreads, bends and becomes less precise, which softens the final image. So even though f22 gives you a big depth of field, the trade-off is sharpness, particularly when you view up close. So it's a good idea to find out where the sweet spot is on your lens. So check this out. This portrait was shot at f1.8. Look at that background melt. And the same shot at f8. Now everything is sharp, but that dreamy feel is gone. See, aperture really is your most powerful creative tool. Okay, so now you've got the basics, and for those of you sticking with me, let's take it further. Here are 3 bonus tips to supercharge your aperture skills. So why not start here? Aperture priority lets you control depth of field while the camera handles shutter speed. But watch out, You need to keep an eye on that shutter speed. If it drops too low, your handheld shots might get blurry due to camera shake. Aim for at least 1/60th of a second for general shooting, or faster if your subject is moving. Test your lens. Shoot the same scene at f2.8 all the way through to f16. Look closely. Most lenses are sharpest around f5.6 to f8, and that'll let you know how to get the best out of your lenses. A wide aperture like f1.8 is a lifesaver in low light, but watch out for shallow focus. You could get eyes in focus and ears blurred. It's a trade-off, unless of course that's exactly what you're going for. Oh, and one more. Think in story, not settings. Choose your aperture based on the story you want to tell. Are you trying to draw the viewer's eye into a single subject? Then shoot wide open. Want to invite them into the full scene for context? Then stop down for deeper focus. Every setting tells a story, so don't just follow instructions, make intentional choices that match the feeling, mood and message you want your image to convey. So that's Aperture Explained and Mastered. If this helped, like, subscribe and hit that notification bell for more photography education like this one. And I have a question for you. What's your favourite lens and why? Drop your answer in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.